I want to make a video on a certain type of person who, I don't know, gets tends a certain type of person tends to get, you know, shot by criminals or terrorists. I'm like, so I have this theory that a certain type of person is more likely than others, and based on observation from um, various medias. Um, they tend to be assertive in certain moments where other types of people don't would not usually get assertive. Um, there's no proper way to objectively describe it. Um, it's just that um, um, let's just put it this way. Because sometimes when you rely on using descriptions, you, it might confuse some people, but other types of people might understand, right? And that's the problem with anyway, um, of using descriptions. So um, the reason why this type of inquiry is not well understood is because, or at least studied upon, is because there's a lot of people, they want to try to prevent these things from happening, right? Um, they don't have time to, you know, have this type of, and there's not really a particular name for this subject either, because it hasn't been properly labeled. Um, I don't, I don't think the professors are willing to, get venture on this type of. And that's all right. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just that because the point of these community workers, I call it, police, you know, um, school teachers, because a lot of people are concerned with school shootings. Um, there's employees of the city. Um, they they're concerned with preventing, and often we observe that the prevention rate is not nearly as effective as we'd like because we see school shootings at least once a month, or more frequent than that. And we see that there's a lot of shootings. So, in news, there's probably a shooting every day or something. So, across the whole country, the United States. So, um, and like a lot of them is probably because of arguments. So, but we're not talking about that type of shooting. We're talking about like the fear-inducing school shootings or mass shootings that's just that result in like just they tend to be broadcasted on the news in for longer periods of time, like Columbine or Sandy Hook, right? For example, quite a while ago. I'm not sure if anyone. I'm not sure if some people might have forgotten it. There's more recent shooting. So it's so we're talking about this type of frenzy, right? Phenomena. Um, there's a certain type of person that is more likely to be in this. It's like, well, a lot of people think that, oh, because the schools did not properly employ protocols for preventing it. So that's we're not like not necessarily. Um, I mean that was what was observed, right? We observed that did happen every time these incidents happen, right? Is that there has been, a failure to communicate to prevent these things. Um, So, and then it happens, right? Um, like, and there's usually warning signs. Somebody reports with evidence, and cops probably just ignore it, and then it happens. So, there's a lot of cases where, you know, the prevention works and the cops actually did something about it. Um, However, there's this, there's, there's the opinion that sometimes this can go too far, and it's hard to tell which one ends up being an actual joke and which one is. It's like, why did you ignore this case that led to this shooting, and this is the subjective part that makes the job, but a decision has to be made, right? Um, can't freeze time, so a decision has to be made. And it's usually the cop that ended up ignoring it probably would get fired. They probably wouldn't be charged, but there's no evidence. Um, they probably just got fired, and then they had to. They would. I wouldn't. They might feel guilty, even though technically it was just a misjudgment. It wasn't anything on purpose. Um, I'm kind of sliding away from the topic original. So, uh, certain types of people are more prone to getting shot than others, and some people actually make predictions that maybe earlier in life they predict that somebody they know or crime might get shot. It's just like um, it's like making predictions of the future is kind of a wishy-washy subject, very subjective. Some people have far more accurate predictions than others. It's like psychic predictions of the future, or no, or, I wouldn't say it's to the level of Nostradamus. It's or the parts of the Bible. It's just that people have that people have always wanted to make predictions, even from you know thousands of years ago in classical age or ancient era, right? So it, it is not a precise science. It's more of an art, not really a science. So, um, um, and I was very interested in this type of. But the only problem is some people are just, you know, excuse me. Some people don't want to. Like there are books on this subject. Um, though arguably some of the fiction books might have uh, certain chapters in that fiction book that are far better at explaining it than even some of the non-fiction books on the subject, including the internet, stuff on the internet, and I'm not very. It gets to certain things like feng shui or whatnot, where very wishy-washy and subjective. And many, even some alternative religions might have things like this, where might try to predict the future using superstitions or whatnot. Many of them, there's not like there's a main difference between this type of thing and science, or where it's like it doesn't really meet the scientific method or anything like that. Um, and there's some that are very skeptical about it. Um, um Even assign these fictitious names like quackery or whatnot. It's like um but a certain type of person, you have to like what kind of situations would this person be more assertive than others? And it's like Um, what do I mean by that? The reason why I didn't elaborate further on it, I do apologize, is because I haven't even described what this person looks like, right? I haven't shown a picture of it.